Hello, and welcome back to Tears in Rain. This is part two of my problems with the music review community, where I'll be going over some other things that I've noticed about some certain people who you guys might not know of, who I've had exposure to. Um, and the stuff that these people do is pretty bad. Um, just the personal, Twitter kind of things I've gotten into with my old Twitter account before I was locked out and banned. Um, the next people I'll be talking about are person in particular who I think is pretty terrible, and that's Crash Thompson. Formerly, he was I believe rock critic or something. I forget what his name was. But he had kind of fun videos when he went through the Green Day and Weezer discographies. I thought he was okay. But he's one of those people who, the way ARTV uses his mental illness, or his depression and stuff, I should say, he uses his depression to scapegoat the things he does. This man uses his sexual orientation. Now, there's nothing wrong with being bisexual. I'm, affirming of people who are bisexual. I have friends who are. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is you using the fact that you're bisexual to as almost as a scapegoat for your actions, which he's done many times. He's made videos with misinformation, but he's bisexual, so he knows what's going on. And that's not really the case. He's personally gloated about the death of people. Now, I don't think, unless they're like Adolf Hitler or Karl Marx, I don't think we should gloat about the death of anyone, but he seems to think it's all right. And when he gets called out on it, he can just block people because he never has to justify his actions. But other people have to. That's right, other people have to justify. If they wrong something in, his eyes, they have to justify it, but he doesn't have to justify it. It's very hypocritical thinking, and I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of this double standard that's been going around. It's been very prevalent in this community. It's one of the reasons why I'm leaving this community. Not watching their videos, not paying attention to them. And I also, another big problem with a lot of these channels is I feel like they pick easy targets to make videos, make rant videos, or like ranting reviews about. Bands that anyone could just make a ranting review about. AJR, Imagine Dragons, Maroon 5. Those are kind of easy and dead targets, Like, it's easy to just make fun of AJR because they're terrible. But, if your content is getting so stale, that you have to keep recycling back to bands like that, maybe you should just stop talking about them. That might be an idea. Like, you don't need to keep talking about the same things over and over again. There's more to music than just there's more bad stuff out there than that. And but yet there are people who they will scapegoat for because they like their politics. There's people who they wouldn't dare touch because they like their politics. People whose music is terrible, like people like Cardi B, people like, Pop Smoke sometimes. I mean, not too much Pop Smoke, but I've seen defense videos for Pop Smoke when he was alive. Rest in peace, but, I mean, the man did say some things, and it's just it's like their targets are too easy a lot of times. I really don't think that makes for good content, and they don't know anything about politics. They've never looked into anything except what they see on Twitter, and it doesn't even seem like they're intellectual or have enough IQ to actually like sift through information. They just see it, barf it on an Instagram story, and call it as fact. I was always told to dive deeper, sorry. I'm kind of upset. To dive deeper into things. And apparently these people don't. They just, that's what it says. That's what the this page I follow says, so it must be true. When I thought that's what fact checkers, this site's funny because they'll only look into something that has a fact check, but they won't fact check themselves, which I think is funny because I thought, like, again, the quest for knowledge and knowing was very prevalent in progressive circles, but apparently not, because they'll just regurgitate what anything says. But I just think the format of a lot of these channels is dying too. Every Friday do a review, basically say the same things in all review, have the same, reactions. There's really no parody in these people a lot of times. Fantano I can applaud for not just liking something because of how it sounds, some occasionally, but even him, he has his biases as well. And I feel like if these people were actually challenged on that, then they would have nothing to say. There's a certain degree of scrutiny you have to have when you're reviewing music, especially if you don't play, if you're not a musician. And I think that the music review community is being divided to people who are musically knowledge, like Fantano. Fantano's bassist, he knows a couple other instruments. And there are people who just aren't really musically talented, but just like music, and they just review it. And I think there's definitely a dividend in quality of the reviews between those two types of people that it really just, drags on the credibility of the whole community. But like I said in the last video, if you guys like any of the channels I mentioned, keep liking them. Just be very cautious about their content. That's really my main thing. Is like, I don't want you guys falling into the same trap that I did when you don't pick up on certain things until it's too late. Because I wish I would have picked up on the stuff that Fantano was doing, that ARTV was doing. I would be able to make that decision before, last year. But, and that's another thing a lot of times is, when you talk about ARTV, he had this video with Trump supporters or something like that. It's musicians supporting Trump. And he brought up Chris, the bassist from Nirvana. And apparently John from ARTV has been living under a rock for how many years? Because he doesn't understand that Chris is actually a politician and has been for many years, ever since Nirvana broke up. This isn't just overnight, oh, I'm supporting the Republican Party, or oh, I'm supporting the moderate party. No, he's been a politician for like close to 23 years. And again, no deep diving as, he has put on his Trump supporter cape. Just complete BS a lot of times. And even so, people change. People's mindsets to when they were making music or whatever they were doing, their past mindsets change. My past mindset has changed. I was completely different 3 or 4 years ago, completely different political opinions. People change due to circumstances or just finding out, discrepancies in the parties they support. There's nothing wrong with that. And to act like, oh, you played with a progressive musician, that means you have to be. It's total bullshit, first off. Like, no one has to adhere to anything. People are individuals. Artists are individuals, and they should be. They shouldn't be the same with, they shouldn't be like a pack of wolves, all devouring or, running the same way. That's why I like people like Kanye West and Morrissey, who are different. They've changed over the years. Morrissey, has done some questionable things, but I think he has enough experiences to back up the things he does. Same with Kanye West. Kanye West is an individual. He's a leader. That's why I appreciate Kanye being in the community that he is. But that's really all I have. Just be wary of a lot of these channels. I find a lot of them to be very disingenuous. I wouldn't want to see you guys be tricked by anything they say. Again, you can enjoy their content, but just be cautious because these people aren't really who you think they are a lot of times. You know, they have an agenda. But thanks for watching, and remember, all these memories will come back like tears in the rain.